All right, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, call Lion Blah, Eloheinu, we Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Harakah, Kodash. I want to give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and I want to give a hearty Shalom to the elect. All right, and I want to give, say the body of Ba'ashem, Yahushai, for allowing me to do this lesson. All right, so just two videos I saw while I was surfing on the internet, right? And I want to give credit to this brother, Yerumia, servant of Yahushai, all right? He teaches out there in Nashville, Tennessee, okay? And from what I'm listening to, when I hear his videos, he's teaching the same doctrine as Great Millstone. He gives double honors as well. So shout out to this brother doing his diligent work. But, Salakia, we coming into a time where there's going to be turmoil for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, okay? And it's going to be by the hand of your oppressor, Esau, all right? Let me get this in Genesis. It's in Genesis 27 and 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And the blessing that Jacob got is the blessing that we're going to receive when we make it into the kingdom, right? Because it's the Lord's kingdom, all right? It says, and Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand, then I will slay my brother Jacob. All right, I'm going to read it in the a basic Bible English. I believe that's what BBE means. All right, it says, so Esau was full of hate for Jacob because of his father's blessings, and he said in his heart, the days of weeping for my father are near. Then will I put my brother Jacob to death, and that's Esau's plan. That's been his plan since that day. All right, so with that being said, let's look at this. Now, sometimes you can read the captions, but don't always take it for face value for what it says. But then, when I mean the captions on what people tag within the video, not what the actual newscaster is saying. Sometimes don't take that for face value either, right? But always listen to what's being said, okay? Listen to what's being said.
And defend our communities for law-abiding American citizens. We need, look, the crime is most rampant right here and in African American communities, and more people see me and they say, sir, we want protection. We want police to protect us. We don't want to get robbed and mugged and beat up or killed because we want to walk across the street to buy a loaf of bread. They want it so badly. The fake news doesn't talk about it. But the black population wants law enforcement more than any other population.
All right, so he said a couple things out of his mouth. He said that the police are needed in the black community. The black community is crying for the police, okay? And it made me think about this town in Virginia where I used to live called Petersburg. They are gentrifying that place, right? And what I mean by that, the white people are taking over. And the majority of that town is black people, okay? So when it says, it made me just think about it, not saying that this is necessarily tied to it, but when it says it wants police in more black neighborhoods, it could be because they are gentrifying those neighborhoods and they want to keep Jake separated. Don't forget that this man is going to or has signed into legislation where segregation is back into play, okay? Don't also forget that this man is the devil. Don't also forget that this is the time of Jacob's trouble, okay? Let me get that. This is Jeremiah 30 and 7. It says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. And ultimately, it's the Lord that's bringing Jacob trouble, all right, for 2/3 of our people, okay? But the Lord is bringing Jacob trouble via Esau, okay, via the so-called white man, okay, all right? And there's going to be other assets or, you know, yeah, there are going to be other assets that the Lord uses to put Jake to death, okay? Animals, other nations, okay? Plagues, diseases, famine, war, okay? But Esau Edom's, for that hatred, right, is going to be one of the main catalysts to bring Jake to the point of Jacob's trouble, where there's going to be an all-out war. I remember seeing in the news a couple of weeks ago, it was either Kentucky, Tennessee, or Kansas, somewhere in the South, where there was a clash between some white supremacists and Jake on the bridge, okay? There's all type of racial tensions heating up within America, okay? But remember, it's the Lord that's in control, and it's the Lord that's going to use Esau Edom, okay, to do the Lord's bidding. All right, this is Psalm 17 and 13. It says, "Arise, O Yahweh, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword." And the wicked is Esau Edom, the one that said that he would hate Jacob because it's another blessings. All right, that's the wicked man. Okay. All right, let's read in the BBE. It says, up Yahweh, come out against him, make him low. With your sword, be my savior from the evildoer. All right, the evildoer is Esau Edom. All right. All right, let's go to this other video. But you see it, right? They're plotting against you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. They're plotting.
Our communities for law-abiding American citizens. We need, look, the crime is most rampant right here and in African American.
It says Trump militarizes and unleashes cops in black communities. That sounds like oppression, man. That sounds like it's going to be all out hell on you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native American Indians, man. He's deporting you northern tribes, and he's got the police on you goddamn Southern Kingdom tribes, okay? Let's look at this other video.
We are
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
White people are losing it. All right, America's going down. If you cannot see that America's on its way out the door, all right, something that's totally wrong with you. These white people can see it, they can sense it, and they probably been in the world a lot longer than me and you, seen a few things, but they know when their kingdom is going down, okay, and it's going to be burning with fire. That's why I wanted to look at this, and it's playing again, okay? I wanted to play again. America's going to burn with fire. Just as this man is burning that flag, America's going to burn with fire, okay? All right, this is Revelation 17 and 16. It says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore," okay? This NATO and EU, okay? "And shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire." America's going to burn with fire, man, all right, by all these nations, okay? All right, let's see what this word burn says. All right, it says to consume, to burn up, consumed by fire, and that's what's going to happen.
Strong's G 2618, Katakayo. Katakayo.
Katakayo, all right, to burn up, consumed by fire. Just as this man was throwing that flag in this fire, consumed by fire. That's how America's going to be, okay? It's gonna be under the fierce wrath and anger of the Lord. All right. Let's see. Let's go to Jeremiah. Let's go to here. Let's just do this. This is Jeremiah 50:14. It says, "Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bend the bow. Shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she hath sinned against the Lord." All right, and these arrows are representative representation of Salakia thermonuclear missiles. Okay, because that's what's going to come to this place. All right, thermonuclear missiles. It says, "For she hath sinned against the Lord." How has Esau, Edom, all right, aka the Edomites, all right, the so-called white man, all right, sinned against the Lord? Go read Obadiah 1:10. Look at the violence against Esau's brother Jacob. It first started with hating him, okay? All right, that's the Lord's people, all right? Then on top of that, look at what he's done to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians now, all right? There was a gentleman, you know what, let me see if I can, I'm gonna just go get it.
It sounds like
This is how Esau, Edom, has
we
sinned
have to
against
remember
the
that we
Lord.
learned from some of the best. They had some white boys came over here that did the first beheadings in Point Coupee, Louisiana, where I'm from. Slave insurrection, that was the way you dealt with it. Tuskegee syphilis incident. We're going to see how black men die if they have syphilis, but we pretend we treat them with penicillin, and we're just going to watch the pathology of how they die. Now, that wasn't back 200 years ago. That was 1930 to 1974. We're talking about giving these wonderful blankets to the Native Americans infected with smallpox as they walked on that trail of tears just to see how they die and to eliminate their population so we can take all of that land. So the violence that is in America has come from a very learned position that was brought here by some Caucasian folks. All right? We have to remember that.
All right. But for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee. All right. But that's how Esau has sinned against the Lord. That's how America, all right, has sinned up against the Lord, because America soaked up all the blood of those Native American Indians that died on them trails from down there, down south to Florida, to all the way up there to Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota, Canada, all right, Oklahoma, all out west. Then got that land taken from them and pushed further till they had nothing but dying on reservations. All right. It says here, verse 15, "Shout against her round about. She have given her hand. Her foundations are fallen. Her walls are thrown down. For it is the vengeance of Yahweh. Take vengeance upon her, as she have done, do unto her." All right, those thermonuclear missiles, they play a play in there. Let's get this in Joel, because it reminded me of it, because it said take her walls down. This is Joel chapter 2 and verse 7. It's talking about these thermonuclear missiles, okay? It says, "They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the walls like men of war, and they shall march every one on his way, and they shall not break their ranks, neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk every one in his path, and when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run up upon the walls. They shall climb up upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows like a thief. The earth shall quake before them. The heavens shall tremble." And it says, "The sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. And Yahweh shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great, for he is strong that executeth his word. For the day of Yahweh is great and very terrible. Who can abide in it?" Well, not none of you proud ass Edomites, okay? That's how America's going down in flames, just like this. All right. Lord Williams edified. To the next time. Shalom.